writing is not much easier either, as you might know, because of many reasons. One, for our purposes today, is that in the academic module, task 1 really requires that learners remain objective enough and use objective enough language, and they base all the information that they put into the report on the information that was in the charts and in the data itself. And often learners don't do this, and there might be various reasons why not. Probably my personal hypothesis is that with communicative language teaching, we kind of teach them that creativity is super important, and they might overuse it even when they're preparing for the IELTS exam. And it is a useful thing to be creative and to help us generate ideas for other parts of the writing exam, such as the essay or the other productive skills, speaking. So, creativity is important, but typically not in task 1, because there you really should be relying on the information that's in front of you. Some learners might do this because of, L1 interference. So maybe in their mother tongue, genres are different. So they might start a similar, or they might approach a similar task by saying, "Hello, my friend, let me tell you about this pie chart." I mean, I'm just exaggerating. But then again, I don't know all the cultures on Earth, and that's a cultural thing. That's not just a language thing. So that might be a reason, or one of the things that is tripping our learners up. Similarly, the fact that real academic writing is all about referencing literature, external literature as well, and all about hypothesizing actively. And a lot of our learners who are taking IELTS, especially the academic module, are planning to do a master's or a PhD, and are absolutely used to academic writing, and they read a lot, and they see that this is the common practice. And they might get confused because IELTS writing task 1 does not require that they do this, because it's just a quasi academic writing task, I would say. So if you give them an task, and you say, "Oh, if you go write a report about this, make sure it's around 150 words, good luck," then you're really just testing their writing. And if you then give it back with your feedback and comments and corrections, and even a score, an estimate for a score, you are testing their writing, and you might even be accidentally demoralizing them if they didn't score quite right, or if they committed a lot of errors. So instead, what you want to do is progress onto the next slide and raise their awareness of how important remaining objective and using only the information presented is. And you can do that by exposing them to a couple sentences first. So again, scaffolding it is important even for skills teaching, obviously. And when they see the sentences, you assign the task for them to select which are the ones that are not quite right because they aren't objective enough, and which are the sentences that are problematic because they aren't based on the information presented. And then they go through the sentences and they realize that, for example, number 1 is not quite right, because although it's true that many American households although it is true that the task was about water use, it's not quite true that based on this task, we can say that many American households spend more than 100 gallons of water a month, because there is no mention of how much they spend. We only have a pie chart which shows us the proportionate water consumption. Similarly, sentence 2 is problematic because it's not based on the information presented here. We don't see any information about summer month, winter month. Again, just how much proportionately is spent taking showers and washing your clothes, etc. Sentence 3, however, is correct. So it's important to expose them to correct sentences as well, to give them an idea of what's expected. And similarly, the rest of the sentences. For example, my favorite is sentence 4, which says that although relatively little water is wasted by dishwashers, they are not very practical machines overall. And well, I'd like to respectfully disagree. I wish I had one. But either way, this was not mentioned in the pie chart because we only saw some percentage terms of how water is used. So yeah, sentence 8 is wrong as well because it's giving advice to the reader and is recommending that you should fix a leaking toilet to save on water. Again, not objective enough and not what this particular genre on this exam requires. So if you give them the task after you have taken them through these exercises, and then you tell them, remember, you need to include information that's objective enough, and you need to make sure that it's also based on the information presented, then you are really teaching writing. And then you can ask them to repeat and to repeat alone, and then take it from there.